Hi, this is Privateer Station, and today we're bringing you day 192, a conversation between Olexiy Arestovych, an advisor to the Office of the President of Ukraine, and Mark Feygin, Russian opposition journalist. Enjoy. Dear friends, glad to see you all on Feygin Live. It is 2 minutes past 10 in Kiev, Saturday, the 3rd of September. We have Olexiy Arestovych with us. Glad to see you, Olexiy. Good evening. We have over 100,000 watching us live, over 18,000. Click the like button. My usual ask, please share that stream with your friends, with those who you think should see that. Subscribe to our channels, to Alexei's channel, to Mark's channel, and to the Privateer Station, if you are watching that in English. Alright, let's start our stream and start with a review of the front, what happened. Generally, not many things changed. We continue to take out the infrastructure and the command outposts. According to some data, we hit a very big forward operating base, but that needs to be verified. There is some motion on Donbass. They are trying to conduct an offensive there. It's not really working for them. Rather heavy positional fighting. What is also interesting, and I try to formulate that to not harm, Putin's expectations for a pause on Kherson direction did not confirm themselves. I would say the number of videos and positions and locations where these videos are posted in the social media coming from, they do show that our troops are very active on Kherson direction. There is no pause. They told us that we were destroyed, were thrown back. These are all fairy tales. We continue to go forward. And this operation grows not by logistics taken out and command posts and ammo, but also with actual fighting and actual capture by our troops of certain territories. However, a special note for our society. I'll say a very ambivalent phrase here, but there are a lot of people in our society who are used to easy winning. There was a time in our recent history when military luck was on the enemy's side, and it was very difficult for us. And I was saying here in the streams that we're still holding, things are all right, although it was really bad, and I did hint at that a few times. It was rough and hard. So easy victory should not be expected in this war. And there are people who often try to analyze your and my conversations here, and the t-shirt and the pose and the wink. So I want to say once again that this is not a warning by an office of the president or preparation of people for something. It is me, Olexiy Arestovych, saying that. It is my opinion. We will bring back our occupied territories, but we need to be ready that it'll be a long, hard process, paid in blood. Advancing armies always lose more people than the defending ones. We will have more casualties, except for maybe situations when we manage to surround enemy troops and they surrender. So imagine all the occupied territory that they've taken and how much our blood will need to be shed to capture that. What is good, though, that the first 2 or 3 pushes are usually the roughest, and if we succeed, then Russian system of defense will likely start collapsing, and the rest pushes will be the rest of the efforts will be much easier. But the first 2-3 Everests, Mount Everests, so to say, would be very rough. and in resources, in blood, in the amount of effort we will expend to do that will likely be very high. But we do need to get our will and make sure that our will is stronger than the enemy's. Let's put an intercept from her son. Yeah, let's do that. That was a good intercept. Do you think we'll hear? Yeah, I'll turn it on the microphone. Let's listen to that intercept. Yes, roger that. Krasnodar, I'm 42, do you hear me? 42, I'm Krasnodar, copy. Krasnodar, situation, news. Krasnodar, I'm 42, copy. 42, I'm Krasnodar, copy. Krasnodar, I'm 42, news. I don't even know what to start with. Clone transmitted that we need reinforcement. Krasnodar, do you hear me? Copy. Krasnodar, I'm 42. Clone is reaching you. Do you copy? 42, I'm Krasnodar. No. 42, I'm Krasnodar. No, I do not copy. Okay, Krasnodar, copy. What is your situation? It's a shit show. It's a complete shit show. Probably for 50 minutes showing us here. Got it. Clone, I'm 42, copy. I did report you many times. Nobody is taking measures. Measures? What measures? We are taking measures. Oh, fucker. Yes, Krasnodar. I'm 42. We are taking measures. Well, please tell them thanks, because I'm still waiting for anything to happen. Yes, copy. That's Russian military talking near one of the areas where we conduct the offensive. This is the link, roughly a battalion, brigade level. Battalion is talking to a brigade, to the corps commander. Is it on the south? Yeah, it is on the southeast. And what do we hear by the voice? Krasnodar, he's the commander of battalion. He's got enough will, experience. He's like a tired military who've seen everything, and he still has enough health to be on the front lines. And he is rather calm, as it often happens with people who are on the front line. And he did report that he is very... You can read in his reports, he's rather accurate talking to his commander, to his superior, just gently asking, are you going to take any measures? And the guy up above him in the chain, what do you see? He starts screaming expletives. And why does that happen? That only happens when they have nothing to do. There's no way to change things and control what's going on. And Clone, the higher level command, can't even participate in the conversation. So they have to translate Krasnodar higher up. And that's what does it tell you? It tells you it's hard. It's hard for them on all levels too, and that's what usually happens when the armies of roughly about the same level fighting. They do have artillery, they do have people, they do have planes, but on our side we have Bayraktars, we have HIMARS, we have long-range artillery, and it's still very rough fighting on the ground. So who wins? The one who has a stronger will. Russian military is rather willful. Who gets there? Their system is fine-tuned to get people with will to put on the front line. So we take out their bridge. An hour later, there is a pontoon bridge. We take out the pontoon bridge. An hour later, they're repairing that already. So it is a very serious fight of two wills. People like posting funny memes and laughing at the foes online, but in reality, they're very willful people. Our opponent has enough will to resist. They will not just give up Kherson territory, and it's about who will break whom. And we are breaking them, but it will cost blood and much effort. Among the signs that things are not going too well, besides that intercept, we saw another interesting nuance yesterday. When we hit one of the detachments yesterday, according to some data, it was the quarters of one special group, and we were verifying that. But it was one of the first times when Russian command did not count the 200s, the dead. There was a very specific command to not count them. Maybe they were expecting for the second hit, but another explanation would be that the losses were great, were complete. So they were just loading every body on the ground very quickly in the trucks and leaving. So, very difficult decisions on both sides. That happened after we concentrated some fire on that position, so there was literally a lot of carnage and destruction on their side as a result. But one needs to realize that it's a fight of two wills, and we are fighting for our land, right? We're fighting for our home. Where do they take their will from? Maybe from professionalism, maybe from experience, but that's about it. But it's a very serious fight, and it's not the fight of, hey, those guys have good shoes, but otherwise they're weak. No, it's a very serious fight. Two armies are trying to break each other's backs. Very serious guys trying to kill each other. We will win, but it likely will cost us a lot. So, what can you say about the information that surfaced that High Command of Russia, Putin, basically, gave an order to reach the borders of Donetsk region by the 15th of September? Take Bakhmut, Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, and the like. How would you comment that? I think the belly button will tear up. We have, 12 days left? This is plain surreal. One can give a ton of different orders, but I can see in Russian publics and in some of their propaganda media that they're providing excuses. See, we're fighting against the whole NATO there. There are already Leopard tanks seen on the south. A day later, they'll probably start screaming that we got nukes, and that's why they're withdrawing. I don't know. And they're probably working hard for their money. But look at that. They've been taking for 80 days Lysychansk and Severodonetsk. And now they have, 12 days to take the remnants of that city, of that area? 6 towns in 12 days. I agree. That looks like madness. But why do you think they are pushing for that? Do they want to do another referendum? They want to annex more land? It did blink somewhere on the radar that on the 14th they will have a referendum in Donetsk and Lugansk regions. So this is likely attaching military orders to political specificity that is really far from reality. That's really apart. So here we can neglect that order, and as I said earlier, they will not take any serious town. They will not capture anything like Bakhmut, Slaviansk, or Kramatorsk. They will make an effort. We see already they are providing extra pressure on the east. There is rather heavy fighting happening there, and even in the Kharkov up north. So not only Kherson is active, but 15th, no, that's about nothing. So what about Zaporozhye and Kherson regions in regards of these so-called referendums? There were some messages with pictures that they got some equipment in. Let me find it. Russia controlled Zaporozhye, got some equipment for referendum. We understand that there'll be no real action happening there referendum-wise, but they brought some equipment for the pictures to report that they're preparing something. So do you think even in the conditions of counteroffensive, they will still decide to announce these territories Russian? Mark, that's possible, but well, I'm asking because remember, Mariupol, they built cages and they cancelled. Well, yeah, because our president announced that if there is any attempt to court-martial Azov fighters, we're not talking to them, period. So it could be a different position. They might as well fall back, or they might still do it to have another chip to trade at the table later. So their strategy is basically to do things that enable more options on their tree of possibilities. So if they announce that they've done referendum, and they likely will have more tools to pressure remaining citizens there for different things, because now you can actually consider them to be your own subjects, and they likely will increase the pressure on them. Perhaps they will do some court-martial and the locals as a result of that. Well, they can, but then they likely will face a more severe gas price corridor and more sanctions. Actually, recently, I think most of their parliament and politicians are already sanctioned. But it's a little hard to tell if they will do that, because if they decide to go mad and still do referendum and then to enjoy finding a way out of that situation, they still can, you know. They've done a lot of weird conclusions and things during this war. Well, I understand it's absolutely political action that addresses certain goals and tasks set by a certain part of their power. I would go as far that even another country that would want to defend Putin's position in United Nations, he would not be able, that country would not even be able to say anything, because you don't do that thing during war. You don't do referendum during active warfare, war campaign. You know, another thing why they want to do that is they want to acknowledge that territory to be Russian territory, and that kind of opens them option to use nuclear weapons. So they may say that, okay, Kherson is Russia, and now it is a danger to Russian territory, so this is a threat to existence of Russia itself and its integrity, and then they may drag that doctrine into the fray of national security. And nothing. No. What do you mean? Nothing will happen. They can blackmail us, they can try to scare us, but I don't see them actually doing it. And if they really want to add nukes to the equation, the West will turn on, and China will step in as well. By the way, their sales are down of natural gas. China is limiting the use of their cards in Russia and Russian transactions through their pay system. We're getting more support militarily, so their perspectives are pretty weak. Today, Andrei Piantkovsky, I think on your stream here at Mark's, yeah, we had a joint stream. He said that Germany would likely lose the First World War in 1914 when they failed to capture Paris, right? They still had 4 more years to fight, but... And the Second World War, when they could not take Moscow, that's when you could tell the Germans lost. And at least one can see the limits of that war. And the same thing happened here when they couldn't take Kiev. That's when you saw that that's it. Today, one of the American generals mentioned, and I can comment on that, he said that we gave Ukrainians everything they asked to retake Kherson. I roughly imagine our appetites, so I'm kind of even afraid to think what did we ask to liberate Kherson. And apparently that has not been put in the front yet, but it will. Here, that's what needed from us, and I'm talking to the citizens of Ukraine and those Russians who still believe in Ukraine victory. We need the stubbornness, the bull's stubbornness that will go through that barrier, regardless of externalities. Our will needs to be super hard, and we still need to bend them, push them, and plant our flag over Kherson. Regardless of resistance, pontoons, strong-willed foes, we'll kill them all and kick them out. That question is already resolved. We just need to follow through and physically realize that. Everything is like in Mahabharata. So just get our understanding that we need to prevail with a stronger will. 25 minutes live, 325,000 people watching us. Over 84,000 clicked the like button. Why am I saying that? That please continue clicking the like button. Please continue subscribing and posting links and sending it to different groups, social media, articles, comment with the link to that video. I know even in Russia they distribute that. They cannot post it on their walls, but at least they can send direct messages. They're afraid to subscribe in Russia. Yeah, they are. I know that. But at least send it on Messenger to your friends and family. And subscribe to Feigin Live, to Olexiy Arestovych, and to the Privateer Station. Okay, Putin gave a medal of courage to one leader of the gang, Nikolai Neparatov, who got 25 years in jail for murder of 5 people, but did not even spend half of that time in prison because he went to fight in Ukraine. And he got that special award for courage. These are Russian heroes. And here's the link. I'm actually looking at that. The media that is not live in today's Putin Russia, newsru.com. So he was the lead of one of the gang in 2013. He was put behind bars. He actually killed 5 people, and some of them women he strangled. So Neparatov got 25 years, 13 he got in jail. He would be still sitting there, right? He didn't even, he basically spent maybe half of this term in prison. And this is the confirmation that Russia is using these resources, because their propaganda was saying, no, we don't use criminals on the front. So I don't know where they're using them, if they're in Donetsk Republic, so-called, or Wagner contractors. I wouldn't be surprised, maybe even in official military. So answer me this. Do people in Ukraine fight on the front? Do you have criminals from Ukraine jails fighting on your fronts? No, we had an episode early in the beginning of war when we opened some prisons because of the Russian offensive to let people flee the territory, but that's about it. So one needs also to understand who are these people. We have several individuals who were cadre military and who got into amnesty. How many of them? Maybe a couple hundred, tops. But all of the cases that I've seen, they're cadre military who were in jail for whatever infraction, and they got into amnesty. So these are the ex-military, right? Yeah, what's the point of taking anybody else from there? The one who fought in war, the one with military specialty, who knows how to fight, it would make sense. But otherwise, no, we don't do that. We don't have that wide practice, that single effort for amnesty. It's too difficult. That's why. It's the whole story to take the person from prison to put in the front. You cannot put him in the professional military because you cannot put rank on the criminal. So you need to find a way to integrate that person into the system. Remember at the beginning, there was a foreign legion when they just started, and a lot of people came from different countries. When the heavy fighting started near Kiev, it was pretty rough, and they revealed that we do need to hire those who have military specialty, and that's when we basically said, okay, you guys go train more, and the ones with experience, yeah, those showed themselves well. And ever since, we were getting only people with relevant military experience. So now Foreign Legion still works? Oh yeah, they're very active. But at the very least, those who are joining, they have to have military specialty, they have to have experience, they have to have something under their belt to show. So bare enthusiasm is not enough. Mark, it is a heavy profession. You cannot just survive on one enthusiasm. I usually check the fighter in a simple way. Take a position, or show me where would you fall, where would you hide if somebody will start shooting at you now. Show me your primary and your secondary. It's similar to when you learn how to fly, when the instructor turns the engine off and says, okay, show me where will you land. And maybe even want you to fly as low as 5 meters over the ground to demonstrate how will you do that, to see if you actually realize and analyze the situation. Mark, during this war, I have not seen a single time a person, a volunteer who came and who knew where to take position proper. Infantry preparation is a difficult thing. There are a lot of people who know how to assemble, disassemble the rifle, but this is not the thing, not the skill that's going to help you to survive. Because the problem is, if you don't know where to hide after you've been shot at, and position needs to have certain features in order for you to take it. One needs to analyze why it is favorable, when it is not favorable. This is a difficult thing. Many people don't realize and don't know how to do that. And it's good to be enthusiastic, of course, but what's the point? Just to go to the front and get quickly killed? The fighter goes to war as to a daily job, just like people go to work in their daily profession. So that's what we're trying to achieve. And another side effects also is that there are a lot of PTSD cases as well on the front. Do you know why? Because many soldiers do not get quality psychological prep before getting to the war. It's not just put them on the tank and shoot at it from a machine gun or throw a grenade. The man is calm only when he understands what is going on. What is his position in that war fight? and he knows in every single moment what to do, what he is supposed to be doing. Suvorov was saying every cog needs to be in place and every fighter needs to know his position, because it was not for nothing. It was on purpose. So the person being attacked, they need to know details. They need to know the bigger picture, the smaller picture, where to hide, how to duck. And there is a selection of different scenarios, and you need to know that, okay, in these 40 protocols, that's how you do. And if you remember 40 and forgot 41st, you have neighbors and friends who will help you. That's why I keep saying that a well-trained infantryman is more expensive than HIMARS. Those of our troops that are getting through training in UK by Finnish, Danish, Canadian trainers, they'll be the core of the second wave of offensive. And they very likely will be much stronger than Russian infantry at that time. And yeah, Russia will probably have poorly dressed retirees fighting on their side by that time, who get maybe a week or 4 days of training, and who die like flies here. This is the horror of war. The war, with all its horror and with all its blood, can be a very well-managed process when there is a hard management, when there is good skilled management. And Russian army has its problems. We're a bit of anarchic nation. We have such a thing as I call the Baltic sailor. Why should I listen to your orders? I've been here since 2014. I have enough experience, more than you, comrade officer. And there is a lot of that. So we're learning how to be more disciplined. And on the Russian side, they are more disciplined, but they are very stiff in improvising. So we, in some way, looking at pretty interesting war. They're learning how to be free, and we're learning how to follow orders and be more disciplined. But this is not a simple story. Training from infantry, grunt, all the way up to the general, that's a big issue. And during war, it's almost unreal, because it takes time, it takes effort and resources. And take somebody with really burning eyes and burning heart to fight. If the person doesn't know how to do things, it's a sad story. It doesn't make sense. There's got to be some training. So, all right, we've been live for about 33 minutes. We have a couple more left. We have no stream tomorrow, right? Yeah, you have other things. Okay. We are tagging on Monday. I cannot promise, Mark, I will be in the fields. In the fields, yes. I will try for the stream to happen, but I cannot guarantee. I will know by some evening hours on Monday. Yeah, so be ready for improvisation. When I get to any spot where I get civilization, I'll reach out to you and let you know. All right, we understand. Okay. Let's discuss one more question. That continuous fairy tale about some special detachments that Ukraine sent to nuclear power plant. Yeah, here they broke 3 bottles during the descent. So we discussed that before, but why they keep pulling in these mythical groups of 42 ships and several dozen specialists? Ukraine military tried to attack Energodar nuclear power plant. Well, Mark, they're trying to point finger. Yeah, they're trying to point finger at Ukraine. They're shelling themselves there. They're doing military exercise. That reminds me of the movie. Yeah. They're going left, somebody's chasing them. They're going back, somebody's chasing them. What an interesting life some people have. I don't know whom they're fighting with. Yeah, it's like from that movie. I don't know, but that Mexican looks really well. Really good. So I think our troops are sitting on the other bank of that water barrier and looking at all the activity on the other side and thinking, who the heck are they fighting with? Do you know they actually managed to lose one of their Ka-52 helicopters while doing that? So were they really improvising and doing it all themselves, staging it? I don't know, Mark. I have a suspicion that somebody may have screamed that there is some Ukraine attack or something, and the helicopter came over to take a look and then got shot down by their own people. I would not be surprised. So they're fighting with non-existing Ukraine attackers, and apparently they lost some people, and now they have to explain why did they lose them. So they need to bring that story up and justify. Okay, interesting point of view. And the last thing, some forums are writing that unknown person threw Molotov cocktails at the police department in Izhevsk and wounded 2 policemen when they tried to capture him. I don't think it's just a hooligan who is throwing Molotov cocktails and wounding 2 patrolmen who tried to capture him. A very well-motivated person, right? I'll tell you, Mark, the sooner Russian opposition will get some subjects, and the sooner that opposition will declare themselves as political center, the easier and faster armed resistance will unfold on the Russian territory, just by the fact that, hey, there is a leader over there, there is a flag and a leader. Because why there is no movement, no organized movement in Russia? Because it's not quite clear who is leading it. So the moment that appears, you'll see that these actions will intensify. And the more intensive these actions are in Russia, the more actually lives of Russian soldiers, including, will be saved. So those Russians who are watching us, just think of it. Your resistance in the country saves not just Ukrainian people, but it also saves your own sons and fathers fighting on this front. The more trains you derail, the more military gathering posts in Russia you burn, the more effective it will be. And there are bigger targets besides that. There are people who are scaring Russians. So are you proud people or what? I had an interview earlier today with Evgeny Chichvarkin. I think one of the main things that opposition needs to declare is that the most suffered people of Russia from Putin's regime is actual peoples of Russia. Because when the new leadership announces that actually shows that Russian people are more valued by new political force rather than Putin's regime. Well, the discussion is going on. There is a big part of Russian opposition that is not ready to take arms, and they're forming still, so it'll take them some time. Okay, 350,000 people watching us live, over 120,000 click the like button, subscribe to Feigin Live, subscribe to Olexiy Arestovych. The link to all the materials is below that video. Subscribe to the privateer station again. Olexiy has other stuff to do tomorrow, but we definitely will get together on Tuesday, right? And you let me know about Monday. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. See you on different streams. Thank you. Goodbye.